I remember the first time I ever saw you on stage back in the day with Ragtime, when Ragtime was first on Broadway.
Yeah.
And I promise you I've never forgotten it. Seriously.
Oh, well.
I remember when I saw Ragtime, I thought, well, that is a powerful, beautiful, exciting, sad, lovely story about America in the old days.
Mm-hmm.
I saw a touring production of Ragtime this summer,
Yeah.
and I thought, oh, this is a story about America every day.
Yes.
You know, all the same problems and conflicts and people coming together in weird ways and then doing terrible things to each other. But then there's love, and that, you know, it's just our story.
Yeah.
It's just how we are.
Yeah, that's one of the things I think that was so kind of mind-blowing when we were doing it is, you know, Ragtime was, it takes place in the beginning of the last century. It was written in 1970s, I want to say, the mid-70s. So that stuff was going on in the beginning of the century. It was going on in the 70s when they wrote it. It was still going on when we first started doing it in the 90s.
Right.
It's going on now. We just did a concert version of it at Lincoln Center, and it was our 25th, we call it the reunion concert. Most of us had not even seen each other. It was a really beautiful concert. But just what was going on in the world, there were certain lines that literally jumped out. There's a line that younger brother talks about how everybody's on edge, and one of the lines is, "There were guns everywhere." And Emma Goldman, one of her songs, my wife and I were just talking about this earlier today. In one of her songs, the line she sings is, "What is wrong with this country?" You know, and you think, with all the things going on in the world, and you think, wow, something's wrong here.
Yeah.
We got to fix this, but that's the job of artists too.
Yes.
That's why I feel
Exactly.
artists are on the planet.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. No, I mean, this is what I'm feeling so strongly. I mean, you and I now, we're working together again, and our music, our rep, focuses on sort of about 100 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, and these artists like Ellington, Strayhorn, Gershwin. And I think just seeing the show and just thinking deeply, which I have been, about what America and the world were like back then, it really gives me a different connection to this music. Because, you know, we see everything through this nostalgic lens. And we look at the 1920s and we're like, oh, flappers and, you know,
fun.
Let me tell you something. I was trying to cut together this short little reel of footage for this Gershwin project that I'm doing. So I found this archival footage from the 20s. And you know how when you find that old footage, it's spliced together really tightly.
Yes.
So I'm like, oh, there's a cute scene of the flappers and the cocktails, but wait, no, now it's the Klan. And I don't want that part. And just even, it was sort of in real time, seeing how all these things were intermeshed, and you actually couldn't have one without the other. That's what it felt like to try to cut that video.
Yes.
Because terrible, terrible things were happening. And so I can't hear or play, you know, an Ellington tune or a Gershwin song without realizing, oh, this was their America, and it really makes me feel translate it differently.
Yes, lynchings were still a very live thing, you know. The Klan, it was a very live thing. But these things are still going on, you know, and in different ways, and sometimes in more metaphorical ways, like in political ways and in financial ways, and sometimes in the same ways as well. And again, that's what Ragtime is about. And I think the whole murder of George Floyd, when that happened and how that happened, the timing of that, it was a wake-up moment for America, because I think there were a lot of Americans who thought, oh, we live in this wonderful country and it's all about freedom and it's all about democracy and it's all about, you know, all these wonderful things. And meanwhile, there's been a large segment of the population that's been saying, no, it's not about that, and it's about some awful things, and it's about terrible things, and this is what's been going on. No, that can't possibly be going on. Yeah. Yes, it's been going on, and it's been going on for 100. No, it's not. No, you're exaggerating. And then there was a pandemic, and we were all shut up in our apartments or in our houses, and we couldn't leave. And then the news now is on this cycle that just keeps going on. And And what happened with George Floyd because of technology and the brave woman who shot that, and it ended up getting on almost in real time, and then it kept getting rerun and rerun. And normally we would be able to say, "Oh my God, that was awful." Did you say, "Oh, that was just terrible"? Yes. Okay, now what time does that show start tonight?
Right.
Oh, when is that concert going on? Oh, we're meeting our friends at the bar. Couldn't do any of that. That was all closed, and everybody was stuck in their houses with this tape, repeating and repeating and repeating, and everybody was forced to reckon with that. And it was a terrible time, but also a valuable one. The good things come from terrible things like that. And a lot of people realize, oh, now I understand that. Now I get I didn't believe ever that could possibly happen in this country.
Right.
And look, here it happened before my very eyes, and I can't stop seeing it.
Yeah, and you're so right. Even though we had seen it with our very eyes, variations of it, we'd been seeing it over and over again, but you're right, it was that standstill and that forced lens on it. Yeah. Well, if you have a good life, also, there was something about that scene in Ragtime where, everyone's dressed in their tennis whites and everything is beautiful. You have a beautiful life because you choose to make a beautiful life, and you can cocoon yourself in your beautiful life and not look over there. That's easy
exactly.
to do.
Yes, exactly. There's a line mother sings in Ragtime. I never stopped to think, speaking of the maids and the black people in the community, she said, I never stopped to think they might have lives beyond our lives.
Right.
And it's like one of those things when something happens that opens your eyes like that.
Yes.
And it's what I love about art. It's kind of it can give people these epiphanal moments of enlightenment that I think happen very rarely in life. And art is one of the few mediums, powers, energies, whatever you want to call it, whether it's a song, whether it's looking at an art piece, whether it's seeing a show or an opera or hearing a concerto or whatever. Art has the ability to change people in one moment. You can leave a theater a different person than you were when you walked in. You can leave a museum a different person. You can see a piece of art and go, oh, I thought I was the only person that felt that. I thought I was the only person that thought that. And then you get connected in a different way, or you realize something. That's what the power of Ragtime was. I got the most incredible, mind-blowing letters from people.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, that just I could see this show was changing people.
I have an answer for you. You asked me about my moments.
Yes.
So just a couple months ago, I was doing this presentation and performance about my work with Black composers. Mm-hmm. And I played some music by Florence Price. You've heard me play Florence Price, and I was talking about her life and so forth. And then there was a talk back, and there was this woman who raised her hand, and she was very emotional, older Black woman. And she said, I just want to tell you what it means to me to see you here, to hear you tell these stories, to hear this music. And then I was doing a signing in the lobby, and she came to find me. 87 years old, looked amazing. 87 years old, she said, this was the best birthday present you ever could have given me. And I'm thinking, 87, and this is the first you're hearing about this music that reflects your life. Like, she's hardly even removed generationally from this music.
Yes.
That's when I think, this is why I'm here every day, to make sure that I find at least one person like you.
And you changed her. She
I
left
did.
the theater.
At 87.
She, a different person.
Yes.
And that's the other thing that I love about it. It's you're never too old. And again, what I think part of the job of an artist is we have a very unusual way in those epiphanal moments to have people understand this. When you play that piece, you have a story to tell.
Oh, yeah.
And you can open people's eyes in another way. Or you actually put on a show about something.
Yes.
Or you can. And you do it to an audience, to a group of people. You're not lecturing them. You're not giving them a speech. You're not doing that, and coming at them. They're willingly sitting in all of these seats that are all faced the same direction, a stage, and waiting for somebody to enter that stage and come at them with some information, some music, some feeling, some energy, something that's going to have some kind of effect on them. And they're open, willing participants of that. And most things, people aren't that. And because of that, it allows art to kind of talk to people and get in your nooks and crannies
Yes.
in ways and in your little, corners of the synapses in your mind that you may not have that opportunity in other ways to do it because you are open and you're not feeling attacked or criticized. And getting back to your original question, what you were talking about is the music of the 30s and 40s
Yeah.
being this happy kind of music.
Yeah.
Because I think it's so much of it is about the energy. It was a crappy time to live.
Yes.
There was a lot of terrible things going on,
Yeah.
especially for black people and jazz musicians,
Yeah,
and
it was awful.
everything was going on. But it's kind of like now, and this I've the concerts that I'm doing, I'm going out now. What do I want to do? I want to give people hope.
Yeah.
I want to make people feel happy is too broad a word, but content, to feel connected, to feel
Or
empathetic.
just feel.
Just feel. Just
Right?
to feel. Yes, because we've just gotten so
Yeah.
pounded down. And so that's one of those things that I think artists and musicians are able to do. And I do that knowingly, like you say, in a manipulative kind of way, but in a benign kind of manipulation by choosing the songs that I sing,
Yeah.
the order of the songs. Am I going to make people laugh with this, or am I going to bring them down? Do I want them to think? Am I going to take a little bit more time on this little pause in this music to give people just what Stephen Sondheim did so brilliantly, by the way. He put the spaces in the music that he
Yes,
wrote.
yes.
How am I going to manipulate that? But I also think, like anybody that's been doing this for a long time, this is what we focus on.
In 100 years, assuming there's anyone sitting around talking about anything. No, I'm wondering now, really, having this new kind of deep connection and inquiry about, what this music means from 100 years ago. I really am wondering a lot about what we are doing now. How does that translate into the future? And maybe it's just that. Maybe it's that we are stepping into this space, this time when anything that is connected to real humanity, becomes more and more precious and more vital.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. But again, getting the like looking at it from the energy of things, kind of what's happening in our societies and our governments and our worlds and in our religions and in our neighborhoods is also happening with music. It's
Yeah.
getting less personal. That's what's happening with AI. It's about something that's less personal and that's less about the human experience and all of that. Now, life is a sine wave, so yes, it may go to this nadir and, it always moves. It never stays in any one place. Sometimes it stays there for much longer than we would like it to, and sometimes not. But that's life is
Yeah.
constant changes here to stay.
Yeah, right.
So what will, and that's a fascinating question. What will music be like 100 years from now? Will this be a phase in music if we get to AI music and the things that we're hearing, that people go, yeah, that's just that. Well, that was a fad for a while, but nah, that's not really interesting. Give me some Bach. Give me a live person.
Yeah.
I want to hear.
No, that's right.
I wonder, and I think that won't die for that reason.
No.
It's especially, as I was saying, live music. It's designed for that audience, for that time, that space. That's the only time in all of the universe and place it will happen just like that. Never again. Different audience could happen again. Person could play it again. They're going to play it in a different way. There's going to be different energy in the room. It's different. It's never the same thing twice. And that's why I think there's always going to be a hunger
Yeah.
for that live performance.
Yeah. But I guess for now, because I don't know, because we can't predict. But I think what I want my reality and the future of that reality to be is to be aware of our place in the thread and in the cycle.
Yeah.
And to be, pulling from the past, like trying to understand the past and trying to tell that history
Yeah.
in a true way, and also being very cognizant of, where we're putting this and where it may end up in the future. There's something about just, I guess all I'm saying is to be present.
Yes. Another amen for you. Yeah, and that's so hard to do.
Yeah.
It's so hard to be present. But I think maybe that's what an artist's number one goal really is. It's about being present and just kind of giving yourself over to your instrument and all those tens of thousands of hours that you spend in the practice room doing scales and everything, and going, okay, I'm going to forget all that now and just let it come through me. And I think that's, for me, that I think is when art is the sweetest, is when you have the opportunity to, but you need your 10,000 hours to do that
Yes.
too. And that's when that thing comes in and says, she is worthy. And now we're going to come through her. And, and that's when that magic happens.
Yeah.